So you want to know more about getting pre-approved? Let's have a little chat. Getting pre-approved is the most important step you need to do when you're getting ready to purchase a home. So let's talk about why it's so important to get pre-approved before you start your home buying process. A lot of people think, well, I'll get to the pre-approval process, but right now I'm going to just get started on looking for homes. And I know pretty much how much I can afford because I know how much rent I can afford. So I'll just, do the math backwards. And as long as I can afford, say, $2,800 a month that I'm paying for rent, then I'm going to look for a house that basically is going to have that same payment. Well, that might be a good place to start, but it's not the end all because pre-approval takes so much more into consideration. Getting pre-approved for a loan not only has to do with how much you can afford to pay monthly, it also has to do with what your credit score is and your debt to income ratio, or DTI. So if you have a lot of credit card debt, car loans, and other things, you may actually not be able to qualify for as high of a price as you thought you. So if you have a lot of debt, even if you feel like you can afford a certain amount, a lender might not approve you for that amount because of your debt to income ratio. Another thing that's going to put a damper on how much you can afford is your credit score. So it's very important for just those couple reasons to find out ahead of time what you can afford and what you're going to be pre-approved for. Sometimes people think this is going to be a very daunting process. And I've got to tell you, I've gone through it multiple times. And although it can be a little bit tedious gathering all the documents you need, it's definitely worth it because if you want to get to the goal of buying a home, you have to get through it and you might as well start now. Here's how the process goes. The first step is finding a lender you can trust. And the best way to do that is to reach out to your real estate professional and ask who they trust and who they can recommend you to. They have worked with plenty of lenders and so they know who the best ones are. So definitely get a recommendation on that. The next step is to fill out the application. Now, most lenders have a link that they can send you and you can easily do it on your phone or your laptop and get it done pretty quickly. After you've filled out the application online, then the lender is going to let you know what documentation they need. They're going to need things like your W-2s, your pay stubs, your last 2 years of your tax returns. If you have a pretty basic file, you've worked at one job for a while and everything's pretty easy, you can get all that over to them really quickly. It can take a little bit longer if you're self-employed because they're going to need a lot more documentation from you. But as I said, it's all doable. Once your lender has gathered all the information from you, they're going to run your credit and make sure that your credit score is at a good place. Now, if your credit score comes back and it's not in the spot where you want it to be or where the lender would like it to be, don't worry, he's a pro at this and he's going to know exactly how to help you get your credit score up. He may be able to just give you a few pointers or he may recommend you to someone who does credit repair. Either way, it's going to be in your best interest to jump on that and get it done as quickly as possible. Next, your lender is going to evaluate your debt to income ratio. Like I mentioned before, he's going to take a look at all of your debts compared to all of the income you have and find out what that ratio is. Now, each kind of loan is going to require a different DTI. So you may not qualify for one type of loan, but you may qualify for a different type of loan. That's why we want to get the lender involved as soon as possible so he can run all the numbers and make sure that you are pre-approved for the home of your dreams. Once your lender has done all of that work, he is going to issue a pre-approval letter. Now, it sounds like he's doing a lot and it's going to take a long time, but usually it can take 24 to 48 hours. If you do have a more complicated file, like you're self-employed, it could take a little bit longer than that, but 24 to 48 hours. And then you're going to have a pre-approval letter. You're going to be set. You're going to be ready to go out and start looking at homes in that price point. Now, remember, even though he issued you a pre-approval letter for maybe $500,000, if you're going to write an offer on a home that's less than that, you want to get an updated pre-approval letter each time you write an offer. And your agent will be in touch with your lender to make sure that you get the pre-approval letter that's exactly for the price that you're writing an offer for. That's one of the reasons why it's really important to work with a local lender, because local lenders are available pretty much, we won't say 24/7, but they work realtor hours. So weekends and evenings, most of the time we're writing offers on weekends and evenings. So it's important to get in touch with the lender and get that pre-approval letter before you write your offer. And because the real estate agent works with them regularly, they know they can get in touch with them anytime. So definitely a good reason to work with a local lender. So as you can see, the pre-approval process is not that daunting after all. I encourage you to jump in and get started. If you have any questions, just go ahead and click the link in the description and jump on my calendar. I'd love to chat with you.